I knew of fixed dough.
Mm-hmm.
But
So are you both fixed?
I'm not at
Yes.
all.
No.
I'm the stray cat of dough.
You're going to say no solfege.
Hi everyone, welcome to OSA Backstage. I'm Dani Meyer, and on today's episode, we are definitely not backstage. We are front of house as we were recording with Tara Cowherd Richardson and Lauren Morrissey of Resonance. Resonance is the vocal ensemble that you see with the Omaha Symphony a number of times a year, especially in our Christmas celebration, which is coming up in just 4 short weeks. I know those merry little heart palpitations are just jingling along, huh? Hi, Sauce. This is Sauce. In any case, it was a delight to speak with Lauren and Tara. We were front of house in front of the Dick and Mary Holland portrait. That is one of the best parts, I think, of the orchestra lobby, primarily because the orchestra was rehearsing the music of Journey while we were recording. So you could say we were back of house. In any case, this conversation was a delight. I feel so out of my element with vocal music, and these two make it seem so friendly and so approachable. I think you're going to love it. Enjoy.
Thank you both so much for doing this.
Yeah, you bet.
Happy Saturday. This should be quick and painless. Would you please introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'll jump in. I'm Tara Cowherd. I'm the Executive Director of Resonance. Just really happy to be here.
yeah. And I'm Lauren Morrissey. I'm the engagement director for Resonance.
Okay. And you are both exceptional sopranos. Just to say that up front. We were briefly talking about the roles that you have filled as members of Resonance, but also the solo moments you've had, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But where did music begin for each of you? Was it at home, at school, or in a concert hall? Do you remember your first time?
Sure. Yeah, I'll jump in. My experience was my mother was an organist for a small little church in Shenandoah, Iowa.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just a plan for us to start taking piano lessons when we were all kids. I was the oldest of 4 daughters. So I was the one that got to jump in first. And then I started on clarinet in middle school. And somewhere along the lines, I was singing. And I just thought it was all music to me. So it didn't matter what I was doing. I was just happy doing any of it. So it just seems like it was always there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Lauren?
I was just singing all the time from a really young age at home. I just would watch Sound of Music all the time and Beauty and the Beast and all those movies. So I was singing them a lot. I actually started out taking dance lessons and then got into musical theater from there because I just loved performing.
So you guys, it's so weird because right now I think the current thing that all 4-year-olds to 6-year-olds are singing all the time is still Frozen.
Yeah.
Or probably Encanto. It's like one of the two.
Yeah.
But it used to be Sound of Music or
Right.
Beauty
I
and the
watched it all the
Beast.
time. Yeah.
What was your song?
16 going on 17. Yeah.
Fantastic. Not Going for the Hills Are
Yeah.
Alive.
I liked them all though. I knew them all.
Yeah.
Did you have any songs that you were filling your home with?
I don't remember anything specific. It was just one thing to the next. And I'm sure I remember putting on little shows with my sisters when I was little, but nothing specific as far as music.
Putting on shows with your sisters?
Yes. So I remember that we had a bunch of like clothes and dress up clothes and wigs. So we would all, I think every kid who's a musician finds a way to lip sync to something, So we were pulling out our Amy Grant albums and we would put on shows for my parents. And especially when friends came over, we're like, we have a show to put on for you. And we took it very seriously. And of course, I was already producing all of the content at that time. I was like organizing. And then it annoyed my sisters because they were like, oh, why is she making us do this? But I took it very seriously.
Well, the oldest sibling is clearly the executive producer.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you give any of your siblings the leading roles, or did you find it's best to direct and star in your own production?
Yes, the latter. Direct and star. It was the easiest that way.
Oh my gosh. But you guys are really good. You guys are really good at, even though you were leadership in Resonance, I feel like every time we get to do a performance with you, as an ensemble, we're seeing new people featured every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly hopefully we grow out of this need to executive produce, lead and star in all of our own productions.
Yeah.
Did you find, as you met other singers and met other musicians, does that make it easier to collaborate that way? Or do you just enjoy seeing people step into the spotlight and shine?
Yeah, it's just fun to sing with your friends and see everybody, come into their own and try different things. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and we each challenge each other. So, I mean, in that way, bringing in new people is great because they bring something different and new. Or some of the people that we've worked with over the years, they want to be challenged in different ways as well. So they bring something new to the table just because they feel like it's a space where they can try something different. So that's always been the fun part. But at the end of the day, we're an ensemble, so we always know that we're stronger together. So despite us wanting to have center stage or something like that, we do really enjoy the aspect of the ensemble and how that alone is its strength. Much like the symphony, it's stronger because of the ensemble and the uniqueness that the sound brings when they're all together playing collectively. We think of ourselves similarly, like the symphony, in that we all have separate voices and separate timbres and separate tones, but collectively we're stronger.
When do you remember your first vocal ensemble? You said you went into musical theater, so that might have been it. Was church choir your first vocal ensemble? Was it school?
Yeah, the first show I did was The Music Man. So that was my first collaborative singing experience. And then choir in high school. I knew I wanted to keep singing. So.
Okay.
Yeah, for me it was church choir. We had a little youth group that we got together every week to sing, and we put on little musicals. And I remember
you were just always putting
always doing shows. Yeah. There was a particular show, and I was asking my mother about this the other day. I said, I remember listening to the recording and the rehearsal, and it was a boy who was a shepherd, and he was a character from the Bible. I can't even remember. I was like, I just want to sing that part. And I remember going to the teacher. I mean, this is way before people were doing, gender bending and things like that. I said, is it okay if I sing this boy's role? And she was like, yeah, why not? So I was like, wow, that's great. So I got to do something that was probably more unique than at the time, singing a boy's role, or a pants role, as you'd call it in the theater now. But she said yes. So that was really great.
It was almost like your first example of if I don't ask.
Yes, right. I might not get the opportunity. Right.
Did you carry on that attitude as you went into school?
Of asking?
Yeah.
I'd say that there's a point where you start to realize that you're being more insecure about who you are. So as you're getting older into high school and maybe in college, like you're starting to evaluate yourself more. So I think I did pull back a little bit. I wasn't that adventurous as I was growing older, but I think once I had more training to help understand, why I felt the way I did or what my strengths were, then that started to come back out again.
That's actually I feel like that's very consistent, right? There's always a point where you go from I'm king of the world to I have been knocked on my butt repeatedly, right. And I just
don't know anything.
I know nothing. I mean, when I went to school, I went from I'm the only bass player in Delaware to there are 36 bass players in the studio at Indiana, and all of them could easily wipe the floor with me. This is a moment.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you remember that specific, or rather not the moment of insecurity, but rather finding how to move past that adolescence uncertainty?
Yeah, I think performing really helped with that. You could step into someone else's shoes and just find that confidence on stage. That really helped me in that way. And then, going to college, similar experience. You get there and there's so many more people who know a lot more and had different training than I did. So it was an adjustment.
Did you go to school for musical theater?
I went to school for music education.
Okay.
So at Drake University.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. And so specializing in choral. Okay. Mm-hmm. What does that look like for those of us who did not attend choral pedagogy courses?
Oh, wow. There's a lot of music history, music theory. You still take voice lessons. You basically are getting a performance degree and an education degree at the same time. So it's a lot of courses. It's a lot of credits. You're in choir for several hours a week. You take conducting class. You have a lab choir of all your friends where you just rehearse and conduct your peers.
Oh, man.
You know, so that could be a little intimidating, but you make it through.
If everybody has to conduct, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
That must help. So it's not just because I imagine if you were in a conducting class and where 90% of people did not have to get up in front of their peers and conduct, that 10% would feel.
Yeah. Not everybody had
Oh,
to.
really?
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so they could
Not
judge
everybody.
freely without being judged?
Yeah, not everybody had to. Not everybody was a music education major who was joining your lab choir. It could just be a performance major or a musical theater major or
Oh
an
man.
instrumental major.
Okay.
Could be joining
Then how did you get feedback? How did you?
in
was
front
that?
of everyone from the professor.
I mean, so
Right?
I can't
So it's
say
an entire conducting
Right?
degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All your lessons are in front of all your peers, but it's good because that's reality too, right? Every
Yeah.
mistake you make is in front of
In
everyone
front of the ensemble.
at the end of the day. So
Mhm.
find a way to be okay with that and learn from it. Yeah.
It's a lot of resilience.
A lot of resilience. The other thing is, when did movable dough come into play?
Oh boy.
It's a concept I still don't understand, if I'm being completely honest.
I did not learn solfege until college.
Mhm.
So that Drake University used movable dough in the choral program
Mhm.
and in our music theory ear training classes. So that was really just how I learned it. And then I knew of fixed dough.
Mhm.
But
So are you
never
both
used it.
fixed?
I'm not
Yes.
at all.
You're not.
I'm the stray cat of
You're
dough.
saying no solfege. But yeah, just wondering in your music education and how you was that something that was taught as part of something that you would continue to teach your students?
Yes. Yeah. It was really a part of our choral pedagogy. Of This is how you can teach choir and this is how you can help students be independent musicians and independent sight singers so that they can be responsible for what's on the page themselves and not, need someone playing their part.
I mean, I will say, while I do not understand, I never did solfege or movable or fixed or any kind of dough. We did take lots of sight reading classes and oral theory classes. And so there was a degree of, you need to be able to look at something, hear it, and then work from there. We used the number system, which seemed to work, but then that the common sense part of it is the hard part, because if you don't look at the key signature, things can change very, very quickly. And I had to retake a class because I forgot to look at a key signature.
Oh.
no.
And what looked like C major quickly became D flat minor, and that was a problem. Figured it out halfway through. This is why I play bass and don't sight read and sing for a living.
The hand signs are the most important.
Oh my goodness. And you can do them with both.
I can do
You
it,
can
yeah.
it's a whole choir with their hands.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay, you're gonna have to show this. I don't understand. Yeah.
The method, Kodai method?
Kodai, yes,
Yeah.
I'm Kodai trained.
Mhm.
Would you give the class an example? For those of you who are audio only, I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
Pairs of do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do.
And
There's their chromatics.
The chromatic, and so it corresponds to also the tendencies of the pitches and where you want them to go, right? So that's why T, like this way, wants to lead up, or Fa
Always
going
to go
down, wanting to go down to the third. So there's all this kind of, and kids, you don't need to explain all these. Okay, and there's going to be a little sharp and a little, they'll just be able to absorb.
And it's something kinesthetic, so it's another part of your brain that can get engaged because you can't see your voice the way you can see other instruments.
Yeah.
So you can see where your hands are going and feel that really
that's
well.
really cool.
And she can do it in round. So
Yeah.
you can do different hand
I had to do a
signals.
round with myself in Cowherd training where my right hand was doing part 1 and my left hand was doing part 2 and I was singing part 3.
So you think conducting's hard with only 2 things? Now sing and do 2 different. It's like 2
And-
different time
yeah.
signatures with 2 hands.
It would be like if Serena
So-
was singing whatever this hand did and you were singing whatever my left
Yeah,
hand did.
yeah, and then you
I
were-
sang,
And then you were-
I sang the, and I had to go all the way through.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And also my brain just
I just heard
Fugues for singers.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Pretty fun to learn.
See, meanwhile, like when we're at school, we're lugging we have our, the bass and the stool and the music and the backpack and whatever. And then we would see singers and pianists. And between the two of you, like, couldn't decide who we were more jealous of. You have your single bag. It's
Yeah.
like, my instruments within.
Yeah, when I was learning them, I would walk to class just practicing my warm-ups or whatever combinations we had to learn as I walked across campus, just practicing my hand signs.
Was that a surprise? Did that method come as a surprise to you when you got to school, or were you like mentally prepared for it?
I was mentally prepared from watching Sound of Music so many times. I knew what the syllables were, but I didn't know that was really a sight reading technique. So that was new.
Okay, so Tara, how about you? What was your biggest surprise, or was there a surprise when you went to school?
Oh, well, I didn't learn what she learned. I learned the number method. So I think for me, it's that there are options to take more than just performance. And I essentially ended up creating my own track as a business music performance track. They didn't have it at the school that I went to, Dordt University, and so I helped create an independent study with my advisor so that I could focus solely on that. And orchestra management was specifically what I was interested in at the time. So we set up a bunch of different classes and focuses where I could even go and intern with orchestras so that I could see what it looked like on the business side. That was more than just performance, and it's kind of the world that I ended up in right out of school. My first job was with the Omaha Symphony. I don't know if you know that or not, but I worked in the box office and eventually moved around. But I just loved it. I loved being immersed by the sound of the orchestra, and then how can I help be able to make it happen?
How long did it take after both of you graduated and you kind of established, okay, here's my adult path, here's what I'm going to do with what I have? When did Resonance start to germinate as something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was actually approached by a couple friends of mine. We were singing professionally together here in the community, and there are not a whole lot of professional opportunities, but Becky Lowe Wyand and Jennifer Tritz, so it would be amiss if I didn't give them credit, but they approached me and they said, we really enjoy singing with you. We want to do great music. There are not a lot of opportunities. What can we do is there an opportunity for us to come together and make something out of it? I want to do more choral singing and I want to do more opera singing and music theater. And I said, well, let's find a way to do it together. And at the same time, the Omaha Symphony was looking for a group that would help elevate their productions, and we're pursuing that type of experience. So out of all of those different opportunities, we came into one and blended itself together, and essentially is what created Resonance today. So
Do you remember what year?
2012 was our first year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
So 13, almost 14 years
Yes. Yes.
now. Lauren, when did you join?
I joined in 2015,
Okay.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was looking for more singing opportunities, and a friend of mine had sung with Resonance before, so told me about the auditions, and there you go.
Right.
So you started off maybe with this idea of we will be a flexible vocal ensemble that can contribute. Did you have in your head, here's the type of repertoire we're going to be doing? And then how soon did that start to transform into other ideas?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. We thought we're just going to focus on different or specific types of genres, choral side and the opera and music theater. And we really realized quickly that all of the music if it's compelling, it's worth doing. And whether it be singing a big choral piece or singing a music theater piece, it was just something that we wanted to jump in and tell the unique story through music. So singing is unique in that we have words. We don't,
Sometimes
instrumentalists sometimes, or we're singing it's still in effect. So we have unique ability to tell a story through the words, and no matter what we're doing, the words are very important to us. So, I mean, it might take us a while to, we need to understand how to pronounce it, and a lot of times how to translate it. What is it that we're really saying? But once we get through that learning process, I think where we end up as an ensemble is really focusing on that intentionality and how are we communicating that to the people that are listening, so they can really feel like us as the vessel for the composer to share what it is that they're trying to share with the greater community. So at the end of the day, that's very special for us, is that we have the ability through the words share stories with our community.
Did it take you a while to become comfortable with how flexible each new project was going to be? Because just in the last, for funsies, in the last season and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to get into Christmas, and also Frozen, which we should talk about. We just did Scary Movie music, which was a whole bunch of everything from satanic nonsense to sound effects to the Monster Mash, right?
Right.
We have done Home Alone, which angelic choirs, we've done the Alexander Payne program,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. There's always something. We've done the planets together. Every single program requires something different from you, and I think that's the case since your inception. Mm-hmm. Has the runway to learning what you need for specific projects gone down, or are you just more efficient at accomplishing the same things on that runway?
Yeah, I think that it really depends on who it is that's involved. So I say that because we have a subset of singers who are flexible and multifaceted, that performing any type of repertoire is not, too challenging for them. And then we have some of those who really specialize. So, but just like an orchestra, you guys do things, it's different every weekend what you're focusing on. You might be doing something, as a small chamber ensemble, or you might be doing a large symphonic work or a movie concert. You have to adapt just as much as we have to adapt, and some specialize in certain ways to do.
They absolutely do, but I will tell you that the hardest runway, I think, is first joining the orchestra straight out of school.
Yes, yeah.
Once 1 week it's mariachi,
right.
Then you've got music of journey, and next week Jock Schumann 4.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you just have it's learning how to balance your time. Yeah. Obviously, our instruments are all physical to a degree, but I also you two have day jobs.
Right.
And you have to prepare for these lifts that
right.
are very actually physical toll lifts.
Right.
And so I imagine that it's we're going to be this vocal ensemble. Right. And then,
but you asked about runway. So
yeah.
We are, I think over time we have become more efficient, and we do work from project to project. So much like a community group would be, every Monday night or every Tuesday night, they're getting together to rehearse and get ready for a show. We don't approach it like that. We approach it like the symphony does. It might be 2 weeks before the concert, the ensemble comes together. They're already familiar with all the music. They've done all the work on their own, and now it's time to put it together. What does it feel like? Because it's going to be different. We've practiced in a silo, in our practice room, or at home. It's always different when you add more people. So that's where the work comes in, and the efficiency level is pretty high now. We've figured out how to make it work and what formula, depending on what we're doing.
And I think singers, the more you do things like that, you just know you need to be ready for anything, and you just go into it knowing that you need to be flexible and ready to go. One
of the things we say often is that we're bringing our flexible britches, and we just have to be ready for anything. Right. So.
I've seen it in action for the Christmas rehearsals.
Yeah.
Parker, our choreographer, will just throw things and scrap things from one whole scene idea that's kind of been mapped out will be scrapped and then changed into something else. And it's always, I love seeing the process, but the way you guys have to be flexible while retaining all the, again, words, music, singing, and then and then the choreography is quite amazing.
Because that's the other part of it too, is so often we're not just asking you to sing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, okay, you're going to stand here, you're going to look very pretty, and you are going
Right.
to sound pretty.
Right.
And instead it's like, here is your Santa costume.
Yeah.
Right. Now sing and dance. Or now you are, however many hundreds of feet away from the conductor and the ensemble, now sing, with the group, or you have to sing with a mic, and there's all these, so much is asked of the performers.
So I know you've done opera, and you've had musical theater. Have you also done opera?
In college and in some experience.
Okay, so there is a degree of of that in opera where there's choreographed movement, at least in costuming and inhabiting a character. Did your collective experiences help prepare, let's say, like the first time you were asked to do Christmas celebration and like this will involve dancing? So what did that look like? Was it just all right, we're gonna figure this out, or?
I have been dancing, taking dance lessons since I was 5. So I had an on dance team and did a lot of dancing. So movement was not unfamiliar to me. It was still learning all the music at the same time, putting it all together is still, and in a very short time frame. I remember the first Christmas show just was a very fast pace, and then you sort of get used to it year after year and just know what's expected.
Right.
Is there a warm-up that you do?
Physically?
Yeah.
Well, I think we do a lot of
Yeah.
that on our own. Yeah, we all try to be, stretched out and ready to go. But mostly when we get together before the show, it's a collective warm-up together so that we can remember what our sound is.
Really focused
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
How do you remember the moment where you realized that this ensemble is going to be bigger than you maybe originally conceived it? Like, was there a specific concert or piece when that happened, or did you just wake up one day and realize, like, oh, hang on, we have an actual like ensemble named, titled 501c3?
Yeah. Do you want to say anything? Well, I think every show we take a risk. We learn something new. So I think it's grown out of that. So I don't think we envisioned that it would become this, but
I think our 10th season, when we did a large masterwork, we did our first community choir masterwork with orchestra. And we did the Christmas show. We did our first opera, The Mall and the Night Visitors. We did our first musical with Godspell. That was a big season.
Those
where
are
we were
big
trying
milestones.
A lot of new things that year
Right.
that definitely felt like a next step.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to acknowledge that this was the biggest lift we have done.
That was definitely the biggest lift. Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, there's always an opportunity for growth. I mean, we have like Frozen coming up is it's actually a very challenging score, and we're in and out a lot. So we're very excited because it's a good challenge to have.
What makes a Frozen more challenging than, say, like a Dracula or an Omen?
What would you say?
It's probably just finding your place in the music and being able to hear when it's your time and where your pitch is. It's not all, we don't have the full score for Frozen. We have some cues here and there. So sometimes when you get with the orchestra, you think, oh, that's what that
sounds like. Right.
Oh, so it's right, because the way movie scores are laid out for the orchestra is they're divided by cues, because in the real world, a studio orchestra would get together and record a cue at a time. They would definitely not record it the way we're going to perform it, which is just a straight 2.5 hour Frozen symphony.
Also insane. Yes.
Also insane.
Yes.
I actually remember one year for Star Wars, Ernest looked at us. He was like, okay, so the next half an hour, there are about 2 or 3 seconds between cues, and most likely we will not be able to actually stop. So you just need to keep going until I stop conducting, and I promise we will get there together. And it's 30 minutes of concentrating on Star Wars level fight scene explosions and X-Wings. And
That's no short order. Yeah.
No.
And
at least I have everything marked out. Like here's this cue. This one might be tacit, but I have a lot of stuff in my part. What you're describing sounds almost like a percussion part to me, where it's just 584 measures, tacit.
That's exactly
Yes.
what it is.
Triangle.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have to pull those notes out of nowhere, and we're praying, and occasionally we'll throw a pitch pipe up there to say,
Yeah.
okay, we need this to make sure.
Mhm.
But for the most part, it's magic, right?
Yeah.
Do you have, do either of you or both of you have perfect pitch or perfect relative pitch or?
No,
I have
I don't think,
solfege, and that's it.
and I don't think that we've had a singer that has perfect pitch with us for a while.
Mhm. You're right.
We have
Wow.
a decent relative pitch, but yeah.
I didn't realize that they wouldn't even be kind enough to put in the score, like, here's what's happening so you can lock in, or here's who you might, like, the flute is doing this, or the violins are doing this, and this would be
Sometimes, yeah.
At first rehearsal, we'll take some notes.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Listen for the flutes
Right.
here, listen for...
But the hardest is when we have, maybe there's a minute of dialogue, and then we just have to come in and sing, ooh, where are we going to find that note? Yeah. It's a great challenge.
Disney movies are the hardest. Like, you think, oh, the big John Williams scores must be the hardest, and in some ways they can be, but as far as ensemble wise, the ones with singing are so much harder because you have the combined, obviously adding the choir to the mix, and now your challenges, which sound like a nightmare, and yet you do it with such positive attitude, and then the singing on screen. So when we did Singing in the Rain, I just, like, the two issues were Moses Opposes and Gene Kelly's nonsense Singing in the Rain, where it's like, yes, he's technically not changing it, but there's no click track in the universe that can reliably hang with Gene Kelly. And then Ursula was the same way in The Little Mermaid. Yeah, Poor Unfortunate Souls was a lift and a half. And it's the listening to these fantastic, iconic recorded solos of these artists, like, having the time of their lives, but just like
They don't pay attention to the conductor.
no. Weirdly enough,
Yeah.
Ursula is not legendary.
Yeah.
Has there been a piece that's just completely kind of knocked you back and, like, we have to start from scratch and figure this out?
No.
I don't know, singing about Satan was
Yeah,
pretty
I
much
was gonna
knocking
say
us
that
back.
one- that one was tricky.
We did that for the Scary Movie concert. And so it was fortunately in Latin, so it didn't seem as dire as singing in English might be.
There was some comedic relief there. Too.
Yes, that was
Not good.
helpful.
Yeah, it's a little hard not to, like, mentally and physically, like, clue in too much to
Yeah.
the fact that you're
Yes. Yes.
Okay, how about, has there been any piece that you have just, what's your favorite project maybe so far?
I would say the Christmas show is always a favorite for me because we get the opportunity to sing in a variety of styles, work with a variety of different people. It's almost like a family reunion for us because we've done the show. We've been so fortunate to do the show so many years. And there are many people that we get to see again, and then we get to make new friends. So it's like your cousin has they just got married and they brought their new spouse, or there's a new baby. So it always feels very family reunion like.
Yes.
And it requires the most out of us because, it's air traffic control for a singer, this show. It's like that's what embodies our ourselves as a musician, is that we have to think all of these different things. Not to mention, switching gears to the next song and getting in the costume and trying to make sure that, we might be dancing like a Santa in one scene and then we have to put on a ball gown and, like, this is nothing, pretend that that the last scene didn't happen and bring something new to the table. So I think that's what has been the most fun for me, for our group, because there's so many variables.
Other shows like that, I remember we did the Bernstein Broadway show.
Oh, that was a great show.
Years ago. Yeah, that was a really, really fun
Just
time.
great music. Yes.
More magic.
Yeah.
Do you ever, when we bring in these soloists, whether it's Christmas or Bernstein or Matt Geiler and Scary Movie music, do you ever look at these or listen and think, oh, we should steal this, and this?
Oh,
to
all the
incorporate?
time.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
These are the experts. So, they give us great ideas all the time. And sometimes we'll have a chance to talk to them. I mean, we had a chance to talk to Matt on several occasions. He's our new friend. We've checked out his mixtape show on the weekends.
Yes.
And then the singers from the Christmas show, we've gotten to be good friends with them over the years.
Yeah. Those
So,
that return to
yeah.
us.
And we,
and new.
yeah. And the dancers, we just are grateful that we are comfortable enough to ask them about their world. And
It's such a great community of people that the directors bring together, and everybody lifts each other up and really wants
yes.
to perform together.
What's on your bucket lists? Like, as an ensemble, is there a group, like, room of requirement, here's my, here's what we've nailed to the wall and written down?
For the ensemble, I don't know if we want to give too much away,
know.
but we have ideas, and we have the board. We have things, the vision
Vision
board,
board, yeah.
throwing things on it. But we love singing with the symphony. We, an opportunity to do a great choral work with the symphony is a bucket list of ours. Carmina Burana would be amazing. That's my personal bucket list with the symphony. But we just love anything. Like Lauren and I, maybe we're a little unique, is that we just love to do great music. It doesn't matter what it is.
Any style.
We just love anything.
Just kind of happy to.
Yeah.
I know you guys have made recordings as well through Resonance. Do you have any future plans on that? Any song cycles you want to do, if you're allowed to reveal?
Yes, we do have future plans.
Yes.
We did, our first album came out in 2020, right at the height of COVID, which was timely, I suppose. And we do have plans to record our next album in the next few years.
Oh, very cool. So as we mentioned, you both have day jobs, and then this is on top of that. What would you say to people who grew up with music, love music, perhaps miss music, but are worried that it has somehow passed them by, it is something that they aren't sure they can return to? What would be your recommendation?
I would say just check out the community choruses in Omaha. There's a lot of opportunities, and some have different focuses of what type of music they might do. So, pick one that is good for you. We have a festival choir of community singers that do a fall masterwork every year in the fall, and that's with our own orchestra that we have, and that's one opportunity. And there's a lot of other choirs that we've collaborated with that are also community groups. Just find something and start singing.
Yeah, we have a youth track. We have several youth that we're trying to raise up in the organization so that they understand what it means to be a professional in the community. But and for us specifically, we have a day job, but we're doing this professionally on the side. So we love the opportunity where we can share those types of experiences with them, to say, if full-time performance is not something that you think that will be your track in the future, there are other options, and you can do what we do, which we moonlight as musicians, and our day job is something different. For me, I'm in technology during the day, and that's still very technical, and I think it keeps my brain fresh for what I'm doing, at night. So I think there's still crossover. You can find ways for both of those opportunities to help a person as be better musicians.
Yeah, and that's true for most people in our ensemble.
They're
doing
either
something
teaching or they're maybe event managers. We have just a bunch of different types of individuals, and being a musician, I think, helps them be a better daytime worker, and vice versa.
I'd argue that once a musician, always a musician. You might just be a little bit rusty. And I love the fact that you have. You both talked about, okay, at some point I went to school and I dealt with, here's this uncertainty or insecurity, or realizing that the world is much bigger than you maybe thought it was. Do you start teaching those lessons now, or do you let the younger members of your ensemble kind of see that for themselves, and then you help them through it? What do you feel is? I think about this all the time as a teacher. I'm not out here to teach anxiety, but I want to be the first person to shove the chair under you when you get knocked on your butt, you know?
Yeah, I think I really want them to have a great experience, and that's really what that's about it. And a learning experience too, but in that most positive way. And they have such a unique opportunity here in Omaha, our young artists and our youth ensemble, to be in this professional environment. So it's preparing them as much as you can, letting them know what those expectations are and what they should look out for, what they have the opportunity to learn about, so that they can be a sponge in that environment and really absorb it all.
And at the end of the day, we tell them it's all about the work you put in it. So if you're not working hard to know what it is that you're performing, you're putting in that rehearsal time, you're learning from the experts, you're asking the questions, that's not going to reap a benefit for you if you haven't done all the work. So we really drill that into our kids, because that's what makes us great musicians. If we can get past the work and feel comfortable about what it is that we're doing, then we can really start to create something. We can communicate that to our audience. But if we haven't done the work, and it's not going to happen.
So, okay, last question. Obviously, you are usually in the choir loft, or you were in front of the orchestra, or you were scattered throughout the hall. You were usually not tucked in the stage. But if you had 30 minutes, no consequences, you could try anything you wanted on stage, or do, we've had different people choose different pieces or roles. What would you pick?
I would want to sing Defying Gravity and just fly over everyone. Just put up the whole rig.
Great, okay.
Symphony.
Harness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do the whole thing.
Get Jake, our head carpenter, give him a
Or
heads
the
up.
Glinda bubble. I would take either one. Bring them down in
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say Carmina Burana, but I don't know if I can compete with that. So I just, yes.
We'll just do competing. We'll do competing harnesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have one person in the Glinda
Yes.
and one person in the Defying Gravity harness, and then they'll battle it out like those
Yeah.
Rock'em Sock'em.
Right. Oh my goodness. That'd be great.
I love that so much. Thank you both very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Serena. Thanks, Dani.
Thanks.
Easy peasy. Thank you guys.